Hey there, how are you? Today is Sunday, October 24th, 2021, which makes this the week 42 Return to Creativity update with your hostess, Jennifer Vanderbeek of scrapsoflife.com. Hi. So, how's your week been? You doing okay? Hope? Do anything fun, exciting? Or maybe is it more important that you've been doing something incredibly normal and satisfying? Or some combination of any of the above? My week has been spent primarily on book 2 updates. I mean, that's been the slog through. Um, I have I have completed my second pass through the manuscript. Oh, by the way, before we get into that, do you like my hat? This is another one I picked up at the pharmacy. Big little bat and a little skull and feathers and all sorts of stuff. It kind of reminds me of Dr. Facilier, the Shadow Man from Princess and the Frog, and I kind of love it. But anyway, I mean, this part is a little weird, but yeah, we'll go with it. Yeah, we'll tuck that up there for the rest of the video because then it's slightly less distracting. Okay, so as I was saying, I made it through the second pass. I can't remember if I'd finished that. I don't think so. I don't remember now. But finally made it through the second pass of my handwritten notes for book 2. And so now it's a matter of going through and typing all of those in, which wouldn't be too bad. The last when I did it for book 1, it only took me 2 days, solid work, boom, done, over. Unfortunately, when I started writing book 2, I forgot that I was writing in first person point of view, and I wrote the first quarter of the book in third person point of view. And so it's not just a matter, and I don't know if I mentioned this before, but it's not just a matter of changing pronouns and a couple of tags and stuff. No, it completely changes how the story is told. I mean, it really does. It's not that interchangeable. So it's a lot of little nitpicky things, but it's also not something I can find and replace. I can just do a massive find and replace because, you know, it's not that simple. Of course, it's not that simple. It's me. Anyway, so we did that. I also had a book club this week where we talked about the Dakota Winters. Um, just real quick, it is about a family in set in like the late 60s, early 70s, or I take that back. No, 70s to early 80s of New York City. Back then. And it's this family that lives in this apartment hotel called the Dakota. Hence their family name is Winter. Or Winters, I guess. And Buddy Winters, the patriarch of the story, was a late night talk show host, or a talk show host, and in the 70s. But he kind of had enough and walked out in the middle of a show, and then went on, a year or several search to find himself again, to find his purpose. And one of his sons, Anton, who is ostensibly the main character and narrator of the book, um, he had worked since he was a teenager on the show with his dad. They kind of bonded over that. And then it's this story of like this push-pull between, the dad wants to get back into, go back to his career. The son wants him to too, because, that's, would be in theory best for the family. But at the same time, the son is, like, having a little, internal issue with becoming, dad's right-hand man again for the show, and so it's this family, this family story, but it's set in New York City where a lot of things were going, when a lot of things were going on. And there's a lot of famous people that are name dropped through it. It's, how the movie Forrest Gump, he interacts with all these points in history and everything. Well, similar in the Dakota Winters is we're seeing, John Lennon's final days. It's during that period, and early Johnny Carson, and all of these stars, and the Olympics that were in oh I forget. I forget the ones that were up in upstate New York or something. Um or somewhere in that area because they like drove to them and stuff. Anyway, and all these different things and people and events of that era. And so it was interesting from that point of view. It wasn't a bad book, but it wasn't, it also wasn't like something that like really gripped you. It was just more of a curiosity. Incidentally, I think they used the outside of the Dakota um, for the exterior shots of Rosemary's Baby. So anyway, so there was that. And let's see, what else did I do? Oh, worked some more on the knitting project, the magical thinking shawl. It has gotten much taller now. I know I haven't showed it the last couple of weeks. But yes, it is growing. I finished another page worth of instructions. So I am now on page like 8 of 10. Still towards the beginning, 8 of 10. So I'm not like super far. But yeah, I am up to how many? Like 255? Yeah, I'm up to like 255 stitches. Remember, it like pops out at like 315. So I am making serious progress. Kind of thought I'd be done by now. Don't know why I thought that, but I kind of thought I would. Um, but that's neither here nor there. I had therapy this week, and we talked about, I did, talk to him about the whole, finally experiencing and recognizing that sense of self-worth and how alien it felt at times, but, how good it was. So, we celebrated that. And, we also talked about the upcoming holidays because my next appointment won't be until after Thanksgiving. And, after, a couple years without doing like big family holiday stuff, the thought is that we're going to go up to my aunt's house in Kentucky for Thanksgiving, and do the family Thanksgiving up there. And so, we kind of just talked about ways for me to cope with, like, because I mean, families, holidays, all can be stressful. So we're just kind of, we just kind of, talked about some strategies for that, which was very helpful, which is why I brought it up with him. Both as a plus, he is like, yeah, I feel good about this, but I also have some concerns. And so he helped me through the concerns, and I have strategies. So it'll be a few weeks to know whether or not those were A, needed, and B, useful. And see if I was able to actually employ them if necessary. Um, oh, and then I things are a little confusing in my head right now. I keep forgetting what day it is. I mean, like I know today is Sunday. Like I feel like I'm finally back on track, but for the last 3 days, I've been really struggling to know what day it was because Thursday, Todd and I had ended up going out for dinner, I believe, and then, it felt like a Friday night. And then, was that the right day? Or I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Thursday night for some reason felt like a Friday night to me. So then Friday felt like Saturday, only it wasn't. It was a Friday. Um, but I kept having to like check myself. Just like, no, 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 this is a weekday. And then so Saturday felt really weird because I've shifted some things around also to make make room, to make space for something new. And so some of my recent, like, Sunday activities I've put on Saturday, and that messed my brain up, a little bit, but in a good way. I mean, creating new patterns, stepping outside of our comfort zones, um, exploring what it means to be ourselves. I mean, there's just so much that's good about changing things up, even though I love my routines and I depend on my routines to keep up with things, even too much of a good thing. Routines can become ruts if you're not careful. And so, yeah, that's all going on. And yeah, I'm actually recording this before noon on a Sunday, which actually, that in and of itself is a little unusual, because yeah, I'm not a morning person. She says as she yawns, "That was not planned. That was completely spontaneous." Yep. But the truth is, we had to kind of trick Duncan into the bathtub this morning, and we kind of thought that it might work better to do it. He hates baths. I mean, it's just, some dogs do. So we kind of have to resort to subterfuge sometimes to seize our opportunities. So yeah, the our moment this morning was, after we all kind of woke up slowly and we're kind of like petting and playing with him in bed, and he's still kind of sleepy, Todd scooped him up, and it's like, ah. It was just like, no. I've also decided that at some point, not the next project, but at some point, I've got at least 2 projects I want to do beforehand. Um, I will be doing a basset hound coloring book because, I was going through photos the other night, just scrolling through looking for something else, and I saw all the photos that I'd taken of Duncan, and I don't share a lot of them. I mean, some of them are just goofy little things, but I'm like, I probably have enough to base sketches on for a coloring book. And yeah, yeah. I think that'll happen maybe sometime spring or summer or something. But no, before that, I do have I want to put out a winter coloring book, using some art I already have. So I'm trying to, be smart and use some of the assets I've already created. I just kind of have to see how they'll all fit together. I don't know yet. And then I want to do a dessert themed one, which uh, it's just because. Actually, the reason why is because when I was doing the Sammy coloring book, I kept writing desert life, but wanting to spell it dessert. And that's a common thing, and I know it. So, I mean, I was always checking for it, but I would like type it and then have to, backspace and fix it. And so, my non-nesting partner, mentioned to me, it's like, "Well, there you go. There's your next coloring book is, dessert life." And actually, he gave me that idea back, almost, actually, it was 4 months ago now at this point. But I'm like, "Okay, yeah." But it's like I had other things I needed to do first. But, yeah, I'm collecting, like, little sticky notes and stuff on my second monitor, which I have not hooked up to be a second monitor. It's just sitting there for right now. I've got the cables, but I kept saying, "Okay, I'm gonna finish, like, redoing the room, and then because I'll have to unhook everything and move everything, I'll just wait to do it then." Well, I thought I would do it before now. As always, things get in the way. But anyway, so, life is good. Life is good, and I I really don't I don't have reason for complaint. Yes, yes, I'm switching things up, changing things up, um, exploring some new things, but, it's all good. It's all good, and, I hope the same for you, whether it's exploring new things, discovering new parts of yourself, trying something new, or, maybe this time of year is good for you to just take a deep breath and settle into yourself and really dive deep in those routines and those things that make you you, and that maybe you've gotten away from. I don't know. Anyway, Next week is Halloween, so that'll be fun. I wish you a wonderful upcoming week, um, whatever it holds, and I will see you back next week. Bye-bye.